Yeah. Rahul, let me come to you now in terms of the opportunities that you believe present India at this point in time, the sectors that you believe are poised for growth and have a strength and advantage at this stage.
So I think just to build on the previous points, and then I'll come to your point, I think you have to de-average the situation a bit. And if you see from our vantage point, we are the least dependent on US exports. Especially as far as goods and merchandise is concerned.
Yeah, 2%.
2%, and it doesn't move the needle for us in terms of our domestic GDP growth and so on. So I think if we negotiate well, as has been said, right, it can open up a large window of opportunity, especially in sectors where the differential tariffs are there and where we have longer term advantage. So if I was there, I would go out and think of it as a positive opportunity creation, where whether it is electronics or it is textile or it is cables and wires, where we see the competing nations have relatively higher tariffs than us. On the other hand, I think we need to be also aware that the whole world trade will get rewritten, and which means that countries which will not provide or supply material to America will supply elsewhere. And for example, China, which has large capacity of many products, they will find their way into the country. So we have to be resilient. We have to watch that closely and ensure that our industry is protected against that.
So let me put a challenge your way now. If you had a client who asked you to draw up a scenario for India at this point in time, perhaps the Indian government reached out to BCG and asked you to draw up and do some scenario planning, what would be the 3 or 4 things that you would ask the government to prioritize?
I think it's difficult to pinpoint, but I would say first we have to, in the short term, there will be uncertainty. And there is uncertainty. Whenever uncertainty happens, people freeze decisions. Capital investments will go slow, and therefore in the near term, we will face, and not just we, everyone in the world will face some decision paralysis, some capex slowdown, and therefore it is good to incentivize the economic growth, because our economy is strong and resilient. If you look at our drivers of economy, it's more consumption-led. I think we are talking about manufacturing, but manufacturing has stayed at 15 to 16 to 17% of GDP for decades.
For the last, right? Several decades.
And in contrast, Korea, China is 25, 27%. Yes. If we want to grow from 5-6% to 8-9%, we need manufacturing to pick up. But our base growth comes from consumption. And that is there. Our demographic profile, our rising GDP per capita, spending power, all of that poises to all, whether it is financial services, healthcare, anything that our mass consumes will grow, irrespective of all the macro trends.
And I think it's important to get that reality check that Rahul has put on the table, and Rajiv and Karan, I want you to address this. We've been talking about this manufacturing aspiration of 25% to GDP for over 15 years now, and we're still anywhere between that 13 to 17%. We're nowhere even close to the 20%. Why do you feel hopeful of the fact that we're finally going to see that breakout moment?
Shireen, I think there is the question you asked earlier. We should take a bold aspiration, and I agree. How do we think about getting the manufacturing up significantly? So the bold aspiration would be, can we get to $1 trillion of exports in, say, 2030? Keeping in mind that, this won't happen in the next year, given all the uncertainties. We are very well positioned when it comes to 5 or 6 sectors, which I have a hard time believing will move to the walled garden of Mexico. If you think about the pharma, we are massive headroom ahead when it comes going beyond generics. We have 50% of US generics. There is vaccines, there's specialty pharma. There's a whole host we can look at. The chemical complex is another big one. You need energy for chemical complex, where our renewable energy is a big plus. There is electronics that we just spoke about. There is the need for textiles. You won't see textiles moving to the US. So I think there's machining. So there's 5 or 6 sectors. I think that should be the focus. But here we need global scale players. We need even global players to come in and be competitive. And we need the right incentives for this to be to truly participate in the global value chain, which is massive for us.
Yeah, Rajiv, go ahead.
So I'll respond to both the questions that you raised. And I would say manufacturing, I completely agree with what Karan is saying. I think there are 3 things which are really important. For the first time, electricity cost in India has become competitive. It was The second thing is logistics costs are actually coming down pretty regularly. Third thing, if you see, manufacturing space has been occupied by China. And if that gets vacated to some extent, where country build barriers, a little bit of barriers to ensure that China, you have some insulation against China, because it's very difficult to compete with China given the way they're looking at things. So if you look at all those three things, and fourth, if you look at the success in some of these sectors where PLI and others have come about, then I think there is a good story. Obviously, there's a lot that has to be done in terms of ease of doing business, factors of production, labor, land, and others. But there is a toolkit now that's there where I think the signs are very ominous. Therefore, how India puts itself into the global value chains, how do we get some leaders the way we've got Apple, and then roll that out, I think that will be very important.
That will be very important. Yeah, Rahul, go ahead.
I'm going to build, I think manufacturing, there is a window of opportunity for us. We need to latch it. But for that to happen, three things need to fall in place. I think our cost of doing business, yes, power costs and logistics costs are getting better.
But it needs to do better.
Our financial costs, our land, labor reforms, if they all have to fall in place, because that's only when comparative advantage comes. Secondly, we can't do only end assembly. We have to build the full ecosystem.
Full stack,
So therefore, SMEs play a big role because, and the end users, whether it is app, and this is the Maruti movement for auto. They build the full ecosystem. We need to build the ecosystem for all these, whether it is electronics or semiconductor, and for that SME becomes. And third is innovation. We can't only be competing on cost. Therefore, investing in R&D, innovation has to be top of mind for all our industrial players.